Hey guys, welcome to the Wheel to Wheel podcast presented by Singularity Motorsports Racing Team. In today's podcast, I just wanted to go over a quick recap of today's race, the NASCAR race for most of you that might be following or are involved in the motorsports world. NASCAR is the first motorsport here to come back in terms of, coming and racing from the COVID-19 pandemic. I just wanted to give you a little bit of my thoughts on the race itself, how it went, and basically what we can expect in terms of, NASCAR moving forward here and maybe other motorsport series as well. And without further ado, let's jump into it. So the race itself was a pretty good race, I think, for the most part, being away from the sport for about 71 days when teams couldn't really do much. Drivers were away from their real vehicles. They had basically no practice, no testing, none of that since March 8th's race at Phoenix. And it was really good to see, drivers come back and they were confident. And, prior to the race, my predictions were that, you'd see some jittery nerves. Obviously, you don't know what the track conditions are like. You got 0 laps down. You don't know what the setup's going to be like. Basically, you've unloaded, you've prepared for the race, and you kind of just gone into it kind of blindly a little bit. But everyone did a pretty good job. I think, the crews came in and did a good job setting up the car to the best of their knowledge on previous notes that they had. And, the race, when it got underway, the first lap, we had an incident with, Ricky Stenhouse there getting loose and crashing, which was ironic, a little bit funny for most fans, just because, he's expected to take out the field every week. But sad to see, obviously, in the sense that lap 1, literally off of turn 2, he just crashed. And then moving on into the race, battle for the lead, first 25, 30 laps before that competition caution. Pretty good, pretty intense. We got changes for the lead that were occurring, and at the end of stage 1 there, Jimmy Johnson on the final lap of stage 1 crashed as well in the lead, which was dramatic, and he obviously took himself out, and that's something I think that NASCAR kind of needs, a little bit of that drama, that unpredictableness that we were missing in NASCAR, at least for a while, where cars didn't seem to get loose or ever wreck on their own. We saw a few spins of that nature here today, at least, not resulting in any big crashes, but the whole point is, the cars are harder to drive, and without having any practice or qualifying or any runs on in the car, it just makes for more unpredictableness moving forward. And so that's kind of what we saw here. The racing was good. Obviously, it was a little weird seeing no one in the stands, basically. Big props still to NASCAR and Fox for going ahead and putting together a race for us fans to go ahead and watch. But even for newcomers to the sport, I mean, this is one of the first sports, as I mentioned, that, are on air again nationally for an audience to see. And people that, have never watched a race before that tuned into the sim racing series, the Pro Invitational, may have tuned in as well, good likelihood to the race that we saw today. And so, good for the sport, more eyes on the sport. I think the sport's headed in a better direction. Obviously with the Gen 7 car, I won't touch too much into that, but, I think the racing's gone a little bit better. I think NASCAR's doing a good job in terms of, providing great entertainment, but also trying to understand the fundamental lying issues with their product, which was the car. And we saw some of that. We saw a lot of good overtaking, some hard battles, especially at the end. And what you want is basically the most consistent guy that's been consistently quick the entire race, which was Kevin Harvick today, win the race. And he won by about just under 3 seconds, if I'm not mistaken. A bit of a margin, but in the grand scheme of things, he deserved it. Him and his team did the best job that they could. Got him out in front at the end of each pit stop under caution. And so he deserved to definitely take that and win the race as a result, in my opinion. Looking forward, though. Next few races here, NASCAR definitely shaking things up here with some midweek races. My thoughts on that are I think it's good for NASCAR to go ahead and experiment by, having shorter midweek races. We'll have the same, venue, Darlington, for this week's Cup race on Wednesday evening. The Xfinity race being on Tuesday evening. And so I think it's good just because I think, more people generally tend to, come in from work or finish work and, watch sports in our normal life before the COVID pandemic. We would turn on the TV in the evening when we'd come back from work and watch sports usually, or, dramas or anything else of that nature. And so I think it's a good move. I think for fans, they'll have something, to watch and to cater to, especially for newer audiences that maybe aren't as in tune with NASCAR or motorsports in general. And so the racing itself, though, is as long as the racing is good, people will come. And that's my firm belief here. And especially for NASCAR, it's no different. The product has to be good. And what I saw today, it gave me some hope in the sense that, the product is getting better compared to what it was a year, 2 years, 3 years ago. A lot of changes under leadership, of course, in NASCAR. Changes that I think were necessary and are definitely benefiting the sport in a positive direction. But only time will tell that, especially with this Gen 7 car coming out, it's something that will either be a hit or miss, but basically NASCAR is banking on this car to carry it into the future. And I think it'll be a make or break car as a product for NASCAR. I hope that they return back to their glory days, and I think they definitely can. It'll be a steep climb up though. It won't be easy, but as long as the product's good and you don't tamper with it too much, people will come. So I have full faith in that. But getting back to this race, I think, obviously no fans in the stands, but the racing itself was good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm sure you guys have as well. But yeah, I just wanted to share basically some thoughts on today's race, and definitely want to hear back from you guys in terms of what you guys thought of the race. Share your opinions in a comment down below, and make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for future podcasts. Thanks. Bye.